Hey Facebook friends, I thought I'd join you from my backyard, mix up the scenery a little bit. I may get buzzed by a couple bees. There's a few bees buzzing me, but I'm going to give it a shot out here. It's so nice today. So welcome. Hey Lyle. Hey Rhonda. Welcome you guys. This is segment 8. I'm so stoked you guys are tuning in. This is Dropping It Live. Just for those of you who don't know, I go live every single Tuesday at 1 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. That's 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I know that's going to change here, but every Tuesday I do this, and I've been sharing with you guys what I've learned over the last 3.5 years along my essential oil journey, and I think it's really important that I share that with you guys. So the topic I'm going to talk about today is one that really impacted my decision and why I chose to go with Young Living and only use Young Living essential oils. So I think it's really important that I share this with you because this is like a big message. This was my big whoa, aha, wow, moment, and why I really dove in to Young Living. So first off, I want to talk about their seed to seal guarantee. Okay, so this isn't just a slogan they say, it's actually their promise. So Young Living actually has 5 components of the seed to seal guarantee. It's seed, cultivate, distill, test, and seal. Okay, so starting with the seed, Young Living actually has experts, scientists that come in and look at the potential for that seed and what it will produce essential oil wise. They also take the seeds, they harvest the seeds from the crops of the previous year that were the most successful and produced the most potent essential oils. So they really take it to another level. And then moving into the cultivate, they don't use any pesticides on their land, their farm, their plants, I should say. And they really make sure that the land that they're planting on is organic in the sense for more and greater than 7 years. Okay, most people will call their plants organic if they're grown in organic soil that hasn't had any type of chemical introduction, even including runoff and such, for a minimum of 7 years, where Young Living will take it to a max, and I think it's over 50 years, which is insane. And they don't use any pesticides on their plants. They really make sure that the plants are being treated with essential oils for pest deterrence, and they actually go out and hand pull the weeds. Distilling, this is like one of my favorite parts of Young Living, but they really have a proprietary distillation process. I'm going to go into that a little bit coming up, and they basically add science into that distillation process. So they've really figured out how they can get the maximum amount of essential oil to where it is the most pure and the most potent in the world. And then they also do testing. So they do in-house testing, they do third-party testing, and they really have a rigorous set of standards. And if at any time during that testing it doesn't meet up to Young Living standards, the essential oil will never get sealed with a Young Living label, and it's actually sold to other essential oil companies. So you can go into the different tests that they do. They do have a website. It's called seedtoseal.com, and you can learn more. And there's also some videos on YouTube if you want to check those out. I highly encourage you to do that. I did that in the beginning. I almost went with another essential oil company, and I dove into kind of learning more about the seed to seal and then also their proprietary distillation process, which I want to go into now. So today's segment is Distill My Heart because it really did kind of win me over. So the distillation process that Young Living uses, there's different kinds that you can do, but basically what they do is they use steam distillation. So they're extracting the essential oils from the plant matter using a low pressure, low temperature extraction method using the steam. So other companies may use solvent-based extraction. They may use a CO2 extraction. Cold press is another way. We do that with our citrus fruit. We cold press the rinds to get the essential oil out. But I want to talk today more about the steam distillation. So one thing that I should say is if you're not interested about learning how your essential oils are steam distilled, then I would either recommend not using any essential oils or only using the essential oils that you are using strictly on how they're labeled to be used, okay? So like I say, I would only recommend ingesting Young Living essential oils internally, and that has to do with the distillation process. So the distillation process is so important that I would actually say, if you're not worried about that, stop using essential oils or ask the company that you are using how they're distilling their plant matter, okay? It's super important, really, really important. So here's the thing. When you go to the grocery store and you see the essential oils on the shelf, you know, I'm getting buzzed. When you see those essential oils on the shelf, they say 100% pure, and it is incredibly misleading, okay? I mean, for anybody who reads that, they're going to think that that bottle, the entire bottle, is 100% pure, and it's not the case. There's absolutely no regulation on the quality or the purity of essential oils. So it's up to us to do that legwork and that research. To find the company that is the most pure and the most potent. So there are some questions you can ask companies. I can kind of post those in the comments, or maybe I'll touch on some. But when you read the label 100% pure in the store, okay, what that means is that a portion, a small amount of that essential oil may be 100% pure, okay? But the other could be filler oils that are added, synthetics, basically additives that are adulterating the essential oil. Okay, so all Young Living essential oils, unadulterated. Nothing else is added to them unless you buy a specific, like the Kids Scents already have a carrier oil added to them for ease of topical application. But all the other ones, nothing else is added, okay? So it's very misleading for us as consumers to go into a store and purchase an essential oil that says 100% pure, because we think that that's what we're getting, and it's not the case. In fact, you could do a little bit more research on the way that it's described to be used. So it may say not for internal consumption. It may say for aromatic use only, you know, do not apply topically. Those are all kind of red flags that you should look for. Also, expiration dates on the essential oil. Typically, if it's got a filler added to it, those will spoil or go rancid before the actual essential oil. So that's kind of like a red flag as well. So you can ask questions too on the company on if they're using a first or a complete distillation. So a lot of essential oil companies will do a complete distillation. And what that does is it produces a larger quantity of essential oil, but while they're getting that larger quantity, it's exposing that plant matter to more of the distillation process, and it's actually denaturing the therapeutic qualities of the essential oil that we want. So Young Living uses first distillation. What that means is they've pinpointed, based on the species of the plant, they've pinpointed what the maximum amount of time is to distill that plant to harness and collect the most amount of that therapeutic property that they're looking at, or maybe it's a range of therapeutic properties. And they've pinpointed the time. So they won't go over that, they won't go under that. That's the time that they're distilling. Other companies won't do that, okay, because they are wanting more volume. They're wanting more product. You can tell the difference actually in the smell test. So in the very beginning, I compared peppermint oils to Young Living's essential oil. I had some Acacia, I had a Now, and I did different smell tests to actually smell. And there was a definitive, very distinguishable difference in the aroma. What happens when you do a complete distillation is you're denaturing, like I said, and you're actually getting all these other, almost all of the properties of the plant out, but it's diminishing and denaturing the therapeutic properties that we may want. So it actually comes across smelling more perfume grade. Okay, it smells more pleasant to the nose. It smells like peppermint, for instance, smells kind of like a candy cane. Compared to Young Living's peppermint oil, which is just this burst of peppermint botanicals that are just going right into your nose. You can actually feel it in your lungs when you're inhaling. So definitely a big difference in distillation. And there's some great questions that you can ask companies. So I highly encourage you guys to do that. There was a list put together in one of our educational groups. And basically she called 7 different companies, you know, everything from Native American, Now, or Acacia, doTERRA, Mountain Rose Herbs, the 365 oils, and organic infusions. She called these companies and she asked them specific questions. So some of the questions you would want to ask is, do they own their own farms? okay? Because if they're not producing their own plant matter, they don't have that regulation or that control over how it's being produced, okay? The same thing with how it's being harvested, how it's being distilled, how it's being bottled. So that's one thing that Young Living has that stands above the rest. They've been the longest company around, the oldest company, and it really gives them an advantage in that scope of the essential oil world, because now they can really fine tune how they're mastering and producing the essential oils for us. So some of the questions, another one would be if they use solvents to extract their essential oils, okay? Do they do a first or complete distillation? Can you tour their farms? Can you tour their distilleries? Do they do third-party testing, not just in-house testing? Do they bottle their own oils? Those are kind of some questions you can ask. One of the most important ones is probably this: do you discard your mistakes? A lot of oil companies may see that it doesn't maybe turn out the way they want, and they may not be getting rid of it. They may still be putting that label on there. So there's some great questions for you to ask the essential oil companies. I've done it. I've also read a lot of books on this topic, and like I said, it helped me make my decision to choose Young Living. So if you have any questions, post them in the comments. Again, you can tag your friends. Anybody who comments gets entered into my raffle to win a prize. Last week I said I was going to give away a sample of my favorite non-toxic biodegradable Thieves household cleaner, so I want to go ahead and select the winner for that. So let's see what we got. So the winner from last week's drawing, it's Karen Anderson Callery, or Callery, I hope I pronounced that right. You win the Thieves household cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead and get that sent off to you. Again, if you guys comment, you'll get entered to win. I think what I'm going to do is do a little sample collection for you guys so you can do a smell test, okay? So I think I might put in some store-bought essential oils of peppermint and then a Young Living peppermint oil, so you guys can share that with people and really see the difference, okay? So I always like to say too that, you know, the quality, I guess it depends on how you want to use the essential oils. I want to use them in my home and in my house and on my family and on my animals for therapeutic properties, right? I want that therapeutic benefit. So I am going to use the most pure and the most potent essential oils in the world, and that's Young Living. All right, guys, have a great day. Hope you get outside and enjoy the sun. See you guys next week.